Hello, Mr. Iten here. In case you didn't know, I'm an old man. In fact, of the student body that I'm speaking to right now, the seniors, probably most of them at the oldest are about 18 years old. Being 74 years old, that means I've lived 4 times longer than they have. Now, what does that mean on a practical basis? That means I've made 4 times more mistakes than they have. I've done 4 times more stupid things than they have. And I've had 4 times more disappointments and failures than they have. Now, what's the difference between those 3? First of all, the whole idea of mistakes, I think, is simply that sometimes I try to do the right thing, and it's the wrong thing. It just messes things up. Sometimes I do dumb things. I know they're wrong, and I do them anyway. And my failures and disappointments are simply because I am by nature a sinful man. I have a sin nature. My natural response, my spontaneous response, is to do things that are wrong, that are selfish, that are not focused on God and others. And the 4th thing that's important is having 4 times more of a life to learn. I have actually learned a few things. That's why the Bible tells you to focus on those folks running around with those gray hairs. They may have learned a thing or 2. See, this is not 2 things I hope you've learned, and one is that you're not in control. You have no control over what has happened. The sovereign God of the universe is in control of what happens. That means, of course, then, that it's not about you. What's happening is not about you. It's about the people around you, the people in your life that you can make a difference. For Christ's sake, you can make God known. You can make the invisible God visible in a dynamic way in these times that you have at home. Let me start with some simple practical applications. You're home with your parents. Spend some time with your parents. Talk to them face to face. Learn from them. What was their high school experience like? Do your mom and dad have special skills that you could learn from? What's the best meal your mom makes? Do you know how to make it? Go spend time with her. Learn it. Write down the recipe. Make it a family tradition. When you have your gray hairs, you can pass on the recipe to your grandchildren. Learn about your mom and dad. Learn who they are. Speak to them face to face. What a wonderful way to go deeper in your walk with Christ. What about your siblings? Spend time talking to them. If you have a younger sibling that can't read yet, then take a half hour a day and read them a story. Get involved in their lives. Let them know that you care for them. That you are not concerned with you, but you are concerned with their well-being. Get you out of the way and put Christ in the way of what you're going to do. Another simple thing. Who around you can you touch with the love of Christ today? You have neighbors? Older neighbors, or even not older, but can you bake? Put some cookies on their doorstep with a little note. Tell them you're praying for them and for their family and for their health. When your mail carrier comes, what happens if he opens the mailbox and there's a little package with brownies in it and a note? A note that says, thank you. And I'm praying for you and your family, that you'll be in good health. Will that make a difference? Back to your family. What about your grandparents? When's the last time you talked to your grandparents? High risk during this time. Have you talked to them? 2, 3 times a week even? Just spend 10 minutes asking about them, seeing what they're up to, find out how they're doing, let them know that they are loved and cared for and important. You can do that. What time does it take? Just show them God's love in that way. Let them know that they are cared for. There are other ways you can do good. Can you write a note or an email to people that you know are in the healthcare industry who are putting their life on the lines during this thing? Just a little note. What about your pastor? When you listen to church this Sunday on the web, can you send him a note, a thank you for what he's doing? Just a simple appreciation that he's carrying on in these difficult times to make things happen for you. But touch lives for Christ. It's not about you, it's about the people that God has surrounded you with, that he wants them to know his glory, his presence, and how important it is to it. Now that may require some some decisions that may get you in a little trouble. The teachers may be after me, but set a time for how much time you're going to spend on your schoolwork and make it a reasonable time. And when the time is up, quit. Go do these things that touch people's lives and touch people's lives for God. That will be the biggest difference. That will be the most important thing you will learn during these weeks, is how you can, in small ways, simple ways, take the focus off yourself and put it on those around you and touch their lives with the love of Christ. Now I'm going to cheat and throw in an English assignment real quick. Keep a journal. Nobody's going to grade it, so you don't need to worry about how eloquent it's going to be. But keep a journal. Maybe start each day with, here's my Bible verse for the day, and here's the one person and the one thing I'm going to pray about in all this day. And next morning, you look and see how you did. How did the verse apply? Did you pray for those people? Take you 5 minutes to pray for them. Write down your feelings for the day. What did you learn about yourself and your relationship with God? What did you learn about your parents and your family? What did you learn about God himself through these circumstances? And then 20, 30 years from now, when your children say, did you live through that quarantine time? You can take that notebook and put it in their hands and say, read this. Read what I learned about helping others, about following God and who he is. I'm going to guarantee you something as an old man. Every life that you touch with the love of Christ in these weeks, every life that you touch will make such a tremendous difference in the kingdom and its advancement. And you know what? Every life that you touch with God's love, you'll be touched with God's love too. It's not about you. Never has been about you. Never will be about you. It's about making the invisible God visible. And you have time to do that. Don't waste it. I love you. I've had 4 years to know. 4 years, yeah. 74 years, 4 times your life to understand that the one thing that matters is God's glory. Make it happen. Make his love undeniable. I love you.